So, Nisha, what do you think is the best invention of recent years?
I really think like the 3D printer is pretty awesome.
It is. I've got nothing else to say, it's just pretty cool. No, I'm still waiting for the first person to make a 3D printer that prints other 3D printers. Then it's game over. The business world is littered with stories of multi-billion-dollar companies fucking over the little guy. Perhaps no example of this is more infuriating than the case of Sears versus Peter Roberts, if only because the company spent decades arguing in open court that they didn't actually owe the little guy anything.
So, Karl, what is the backstory for this?
For this story, we have to go all the way back to 1963 when Peter Roberts was working at Sears as a sales clerk, and he just so happened to notice that socket wrenches sucked ass. Specifically, he noticed that to change the socket of a socket wrench, it was an arduous, time-consuming ball ache. So what he did is he went home and he tinkered with a socket wrench and invented a quick-release device that allowed you to change the socket one-handed. And while it doesn't sound all that impressive, Robert's little invention has been described as revolutionary in the field of wrenching, and the device has been praised by people who use wrenches, both for the time it saves and the simple elegance of its design.
Right, so this wrench is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty good wrench. It's the standard for socket wrenches these days. And as I mentioned before, Roberts' invention, changing the socket on a socket wrench, was an arduous process. And after he came along and invented this little device, you could literally change the socket on a socket wrench with a flick of your wrist. It's just pop it out, put it back in, done, perfect. Time saved, don't have to use two hands.
I can see why people love it, because people like anything that saves time.
Yeah.
Because people are impatient.
People are very impatient, yes. And just as well, when you're using a wrench, you don't really want to have to use both hands to change the socket on it. And it's like, just anything that saves time is generally a good invention. That's why things like the toaster and the kettle are so ubiquitous in households, because it's two very simple things, admittedly, warming bread and warming water, but those devices are purpose made to make that job just so easy. It can be done with a literal push of a button. And I'm very outspoken when it comes to toasters, because I have never bought a toaster that toasts the bread all the way through. You always end up with that little strip at the top that's not toasted, and it pisses me off every time. It's like when you get a toaster that won't fit a crumpet inside, and it gets stuck, and then when you try and raise the toaster up a little bit, your crumpet gets stuck on the edge and it all rips off. It's for fuck's sake. It's just so annoying though, when you press the button to release it, and the mechanism pops out, but then the crumpet just stays at the bottom, still getting cooked. No! It's that's why Operation is such a good game, because it teaches you for this moment. It's I have to somehow fish out my crumpet without touching the sides and killing myself.
Okay, so what happened with the story of the wrench?
Well, Roberts knew that Sears, the company he worked for, sold millions of wrenches every single year. So he decided to show his new invention to his boss and ask them, do you think Sears would maybe sell something like this? I know we sell a lot of wrenches. It's pretty good. It makes using a socket wrench a whole bunch easier. And his boss, in what might be the worst piece of advice ever given to a co-worker, told him what I would do is I'd send it into head office as an employee suggestion and see if they want to make use of it. And Roberts, being young and naive and seeing no reason to distrust his boss, you can tell this story is not from recently, can't you? He did send his prototype special socket wrench into Sears head office and then promptly forgot all about it. And the reason this story is so insane is that Roberts was so trusting and believed his boss so much, he sent Sears head office the literal only prototype of the device in existence.
Oh no.
Yeah. Sears head office got the wrench, looked at it, went, wow, it works. Handed it off to their marketing team, who did some research on it and found that every single person who used a socket wrench as part of their day-to-day work was absolutely in love with the device and was asking where they could buy one. And then with the numbers and figures they obtained from that, worked up conservative estimates that Sears could reliably expect to sell, with minimal advertising, 750,000 wrenches in the first year of sale. Now here's the thing though, Sears didn't actually tell Roberts that they did any of this research, and in fact refused to contact him at all, and instead waited for him to contact them asking, well, did you see my wrench? Did you like it? To which they responded, while it is of solid design, we don't think it has much use and we don't think it will garner many sales. And something he probably should have been a little bit suspicious of when they followed that up by asking, completely unrelated, but do you happen to have a patent lawyer working on this case at the moment? To which Roberts, young naive Roberts, responded, why, yes, I do. Would you like to know his name? And told them who his patent lawyer was. Sears then went, I shit you not, and hired his patent lawyer to work for them. Shortly thereafter, Robert's patent lawyer contacted him and advised him to take a payout of $10,000 from Sears. Which he did because he saw no reason not to trust Sears or his own lawyer.
So did Sears offer him $10,000 in cash?
No, because I feel like that would have been less insulting than what they did do, which was offer him 2 cents for every wrench that they sold that utilised his new invention, up to $10,000. Roberts, again, was advised by his own lawyer, who Sears hired to take this offer. So he went, well, I guess I'll do that. And then he promptly went about his business. He quit Sears, I believe he went to work for the Air Force, and thought nothing more about his wrench. He even got his check for $10,000 a couple months later. I thought, oh, wow, they were right. But they did find it a bit suspicious that he made $10,000 so quickly. And these suspicions were heightened when he opened up a Sears catalogue and saw his wrench looking back at him.
Yeah, that sounds really rough. So how much money did Sears make from this?
Reportedly, they made millions of dollars from sales of Robert's wrench. But here's one of those facts that's going to make you just a little bit angrier at the company. They argued that they didn't actually make any money at all. And when Roberts took them to court for like, fuck you, give me my money, you very clearly ripped me off. Do you think this is like the most open shut case ever, don't you? Like, Sears have got numbers from their own marketing team that directly contradict what they told Roberts. But Sears was a massive company with loads of money, so they dragged this shit out for years. In the end, I think it's like 25 years for Roberts to actually get his money.
Holy shit.
But it gets just a little bit worse, because during this several decade-long case, Sears actually argued in open court that they'd made no money from sales of Robert's wrench, to which a bemused judge asked, can you prove this? Because it seems a little bit strange, like it's right here in a catalogue. Can you show us your sales figure for the wrench? To which Sears went, nah. And again, you'd think, well, sure, it's an open shut case. They're like, surely all they need to do is get the sales numbers and go, well, clearly it's worth more than you told Mr. Roberts he was. And in an ideal world, that's how it would happen, but Sears had more money, so they just kept dragging it out. And it's so frustrating a story because Roberts was completely 100% in the right. It's like, you stole my idea. Like, you fobbed me off with this like token payment and made millions from it. Just pay me what I'm fucking owed.
Yeah.
And they argued and got like, nah, we don't want to do that.
Just imagine having that much money though to keep it going for like 25 years. Yeah, just to argue for 25 years.
And that's the point, and that's why this is so frustrating, because Sears were spending literally millions of dollars in court fees arguing that this device was worthless.
Wouldn't it have been easier just to pay Roberts?
Exactly, yeah, and that's why
just what he wants.
That's why it's so frustrating, because anybody can see, well, if you're so aggressively defending this and willing to spend millions of dollars to not share the profits of what this device has made, surely it's obviously worth more than what you say it is. Because if it wasn't, if it was worthless like you said, you'd be happy to let Roberts take 50% of what like every sale made. And it's at the very least more than what you're spending in court fees. Otherwise, you wouldn't do this because you're a business. But I don't think anything about this story highlights how long the story went on. More than the fact that Robert's lawyer fucking died before the final judgment was released.
Oh no. Oh no.
You might be thinking, well, what happened to Roberts? His lawyer just died. How does the case continue? Well, I shit you not, audience at home, Roberts' lawyer's son took up the case and sued Sears in his stead. Hey, you're a lawyer, like 25 years in the past, and you're like, someone walks in and they give you like what looks like the easiest slam dunk ever. It's like, yeah, they fobbed me off and said it was worthless. Here's a full page spread in a catalogue. They're making millions from my device. Can we sue them from it? Yeah, that seems fine. 25 years later, you're on your deathbed. Oh, son, you must continue my legacy. You must sue Sears in my stead. Just as he passes away in the heart monitor, just flatlines. His son just grabs his hand, looks up with a determined tear on his cheek, like, Father, I will make Sears pay for this. There is a happy ending though, because 25 years later, Peter Roberts was given $8 million. So well done him, I guess. And fuck Sears, who I believe are bankrupt now. For reasons unrelated to this story, but I don't care. Fuck that company. So Nisha, do you have any $1 million ideas that everyone watching this can steal?
No.
No, okay, that's the correct answer for that one. But have you got any?
Long and short of it.
That's the smart answer. But is there any inventions or devices in your house you think are due an upgrade at all? So like we spoke briefly about toasters, where someone needs to fix that fucking thing with toasters where they don't toast crumpets. Why is there not just an all-purpose toasting device that can cook bread and crumpets and tea cakes and all that other bollocks? Why is it that they always mess up at least one of those things? You'd think by now that problem would be solved, but no.
Trying to think now what would be good. Because, most things have been invented now. Like, I've been watching Dragon's Den. And a lot of stuff they bring in is like, oh, there's no point. There's already something that's similar.
Yeah.
Or there's something that can work better than your invention. It's like really hard to come up with something better.
Yeah, for
new.
Americans, Dragon's Den is Shark Tank. It's the same thing. But and that's why I think the best inventions are not new things, but like twists on things that already exist that just make them easier to use. Like one for me would be a smoothie maker. So I've got one of those like NutriBullet things for making smoothies in the morning, things like that.
Oh yeah.
One of them where they design the pots that you put your smoothie in and you drink out of.
Yeah.
Whatever plastic they make those things out of, fucking get rid of shit. Because I have never, not once, made a smoothie and been able to properly clean one of those bastards out. Ever.
Oh yeah.
Like, have you ever been able to properly clean out one of the smoothie pots? Ever?
No, they always end up like smelling really bad. That's the same with like water bottles that I've had in the past.
Reusable water bottles, yeah, they're terrible. They always end up smelling. Like, how have they not fixed this yet? And it's just like, you think they'd have solved this by now. Like, the amount of money that they have, it's so fucking frustrating. And even devices that are constantly being refined upon, like phones.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's on me at the moment. No, it's off. There we go. I've got one of these bastards here. Like, it's a rectangle. Everyone's got a rectangle. This is an Apple rectangle, right? I don't know why the screen still scratches every time. How? Because I've read interviews with Corning, who make Gorilla Glass, and they've said multiple times, we can make glass that won't scratch. We have the technology to do it, but every time we make stronger glass, Apple rolls it thinner, so it still scratches, and it's fucking infuriating. It's like, oh, god damn it. He's like, oh, why can't I we're taking off the fucking headphone jacks. Oh, why would you do this? It's like so annoying. Well, I bought joggers the other day, and I put them in for a wash. You got to put them in for a wash the first time, and then do you know the drawstring that goes around the edge? That fell out.
Yeah.
And there's no fucking way I'm getting that back in. So why is this not being solved yet? Why is this a problem?
I saw something actually, thinking about like upgrading stuff around the house.
Yeah.
I watched a video earlier today actually where it's I think it's architectural design or some digest. That's it, architectural digest, where they go around like celebrities' homes.
Okay.
And then they went around this celebrity's house and they had a motion sensor toilet that lifts the seat for you. And I'm like, actually, that's quite good if you don't want to touch a seat, especially in public toilets.
Yeah, that does sound good, but what happens when it breaks? Like, they're the things they're good in theory until they stop working.
Yeah.
Is that a friend of mine's got an Alexa? It's really cool to have an Alexa. Also, sorry to everyone who has an Alexa whose device has suddenly just started whirring up. Alexa, play Africa by Toto. There you go. He's got one of them. He's like, oh, it's so good. Watch this. It's like, Alexa, turn on the kettle. And she's like, searching for kettle online. I was like, no, Alexa, turn on the kettle. Can you repeat that? Alexa, and by that point, I was walking over and pressed the kettle on. It's like, I get it. It's cool. It's easier to still do it this way.
I know that my mum's got one of the Google versions of that. What's it called? Like,
hello, Google.
Oh, what is it?
Okay, Google.
Is that what it is?
Well, you know what? Since we're setting off everyone's device, let's try mine. Hey, Siri. Tell us a joke. Oh, she's on silent. There we go. Tell me a joke, Siri. Oh, no, now she's going through my Bluetooth headphones. Oh, technology sucks ass! The joke's ruined! Fuck you! God damn it!